Welcome. This is Mike Ambassador Bruni here on behalf of the Conference for Women. Today we're going to talk about the new art of conference networking, hashtags to handshakes, and that's really learning how to build online contacts before the conference and turning those into real relationships when you meet face to face. So we'll jump right in it. We don't have much time. First, I'll start with a story called Heads and Tail. A young girl goes to her mom and says, "Mom, I noticed when you cook fish, you always cut off the head and the tail before you put it in the pan. Why do you do that?" The mom looks at her and says, "I don't know, dear. It's what your grandma always did. Why don't you ask her?" Little girl goes to the grandma and says, "Grandma, why do you always cut off the head and the tail before you cook the fish?" She says, "Oh dear, that's an easy one. Back in my day, the pans were only so big, so we had to cut it off so the fish can fit in." Moral of the story? Are you going around cutting off your head and your tail without fully understanding A, why you're doing it, and then B, what has changed in the environment? And we're talking about networking here, both using online and offline tools. We'll cover some of that today. I'll start with a quote and an affirmation. First of all, I want to thank my connect, the most important person with all due respect, by Jay-Z. And the affirmation, I am grateful. The agenda for today, we're going to cover focus, that's your game plan. 2, engage, that's reaching out. 3 is attending, that's the actual event. And 4 is follow-up, keeping it going. So who am I? I'm going to start a little bit. I go by Mike Ambassador Bruni, and I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I have a degree in psychology from Hartwick College, also a master's in sport management from the University of Massachusetts. I worked several years in sports, including at Syracuse University, as well as Connecticut, UConn, and also as a operations manager at Intel. I am a professional speaker, as well as a life coach and an author. I wrote a book called Move the Crowd, 30 Days of Hip-Hop Affirmations to Change Your Life. I've been married for 7 years now, and I've been known to dance a little bit of salsa, as well as wear a bow tie. Lastly, my background is from Haiti. Now you may be thinking, why do I need to know all this stuff? Well, the truth is there's no such thing as small talk. We're all looking for where our lives intersect, which makes our conversations totally different. So why should I listen to this guy? Okay, networking, basically, I've been doing it since I was in junior high school. That's when I was exposed to it. I was leaving junior high school, getting ready to go to high school, and no high school wanted me. My principal reached into her network and allowed me to get connected and go to a pretty good high school. Haven't looked back since. Networking has allowed me to do several things. 1, get front row tickets to a Jay-Z concert. It's allowed me to spend 2 months studying in Jamaica, studying a tough course called Reason, Rasta, and Reggae. I know you feel sorry for me. It's also allowed me to get several different positions. I've never had to, every job that I've gotten has been through networking. Now, networking is not just about what I've gotten, but it's about what I've been able to give back. I'm very proud to say that I've created my own bow tie line or collection through networking that has allowed me to give back part of the proceeds to an organization that's near and dear to my heart, the Brooklyn Skyhawks. So, what exactly is networking? I'll start by talking about this pen. If you look to the left here, you'll see that it's a little bit tarnished. Now, if that's what your exposure was to networking, that's what you'll know, right? Tarnish. If you look to the right-hand side there, it's nice, it's shiny, the kind of shiny where you can actually see your reflection in it. If that was your exposure to networking, that's what you'll know. So depending on what you're exposed to, that's going to kind of frame how you look at networking. So I want you to keep that in mind, that there's different aspects of what can actually happen. So original definition of networking for me was he or she with the most business cards win. These are actually stacks of business cards that I've collected over time, and that is not the definition I want us to focus on today. Instead, I want us to look at redefining networking, and first by starting by throwing a hyphen right in between the word and looking at it as networking. I want you to visualize standing in front of a sea that's full with fish. In your hand, you have a net. And yes, you're hungry. So the only way for you to get fed is to take that net and put it to work. Now, each of the squares in the net represent people who know you and people that you know. So you have to understand that you have to put that to work in order for things to happen. Now, wait a minute, Mike. This sounds very one-sided. But no, what I also want you to take into consideration is that you are part of someone else's net. So you have to be ready and willing, in fact, volunteering to help others at every moment. All right, jumping into focus, which is the first part of our four-part agenda here. There are 5 questions I want you to ask yourself as you get ready to go to the conference. The first one is, why am I going? Simple question, right? But why are you going? Next is, what is the bigger picture? What goals are you trying to accomplish that are outside of this conference? The conference is a one-time event, but what are the goals that you have for business and in life that this conference is going to help you achieve? Next is, who can help you? Now, this may come in the form of an actual name of someone who's going to be in the conference or a title. Understanding that, hey, I'm looking for the chief marketing officer is good information to share because someone may connect with them and then circle back with you. What do I need to learn? Now, there is probably a gap between where you are and where you want to go, that goal that we're talking about. With that gap comes something you probably need to learn in order to make it happen. When you know what you need to learn, it makes 2 things very interesting at your conference. One is that now when you're selecting what breakout session to go to, you're using this piece of information of what you need to learn as a guide to selecting, not just, hey, this is a cool speaker that I want to hear. Secondly, it also allows you to have a different level of dialogue because now you can ask people, hey, have you heard about so-and-so? I tried it and I'm curious about what your experience has been with it. So it allows you to change the conversation to more than just the weather. Next, who can I tell? Now this is about choosing someone who can help you with accountability. All right, some technology tools that you can use in this section: Evernote, Action Method, as well as Google Docs. And I'll link to some of this stuff in the actual notes. Next is engage. This is reaching out. This is a very important part. Start with a quote. They should teach it at every school. It's the ABY, always be you, by Mos Def. And the affirmation, I have something to offer in every situation. Now believe that. But what's the difficulty? What gets in the way of you actually believing that you have something to offer in every situation? I'll share a story with you. So now, it's called I Can't Write. Not too long ago, I was approached by Intel, working as an operation manager, to blog on, to be one of their bloggers, because I put out a post there and they thought it was good. They loved my positive vibe, and I started laughing. I called my friend Joel. Hey, Joel, they want me to be a blogger for them. Now, what was so funny about that? To me, what was funny is because when I left school, I said I never want to write again. When I wrote my book, I said I never want to write again. Deep down inside, it was all about the feeling that I am not a good writer. So I was living an old story. So that laughter wasn't really so funny. Question for you is, what old story are you living out that's getting in the way of you giving all you have to someone that you meet at a conference? Okay, 2 questions or concerns, if you will. One is, what do I have to offer? And the second is, who do I offer it to? So the first one, what do I have to offer? I want you to consider this acronym when you think about that. It's WHEN. W-H-E-N. W stands for work. So this is looking at capturing the inventory of your work history. H is for hobby. And that's what are the things that you could just spend hours on, right? And time just flies. E is for employment. It's for education. What are the things that you've studied? And N is for network. Who are the people that you know and that are around you? Those are things that can be valuable to other people, but you have to take inventory before you step foot in that conference, or else it becomes a little bit overwhelming. Okay, who do I offer it to? A couple of suggestions I have. First is organizers. And these people are the ones who are actually putting on the conference. So you want to connect with them a few months before the conference actually starts, right? Because they're busy, they're planning. Next is speakers. So you want to reach out to them. You can find their information on the actual, their own website, or the conference website will tell you some of the people. Now, very important point here is, you're not just reaching out to speakers because they're popular or you think they're cool, but you're going back to the first piece around your goals and how can you align your goals with a speaker that makes sense. Those are the people you want to connect with. Next is participants. Now let's face it, there are more participants than there are speakers or organizers, obviously. And these are the people who have an opportunity to have the greatest impact on you and your work, and vice versa, you have an opportunity to give to them. So you want to reach out to them before the conference starts, and that's by leveraging social media. So leveraging technology in this space is social media. So we're talking about the LinkedIn groups, the Facebook groups, the hashtags that are being used by the group. Boxcar is a great app that allows you to get notifications that come directly to your phone. And CRM tools are customer relationship management tools, and that's so you can manage, hey, who are the people that I reach out to, what conversations that we've had. Next, going to attend. It's time to go to the conference. All right, I'll quote, "Why try to fit in when you are a standout?" by Joe Budden. Affirmation, I stand out with pride. So now we're going to get into mindset. That's where we want to start. Half glass empty, half glass full, or is the glass currently being poured? Water is being poured in the glass. It's in motion. So mental prep. This is where I really want you to start thinking about what are the things that you have to do to get ready for this conference. Don't just walk in there cold. What are the physical things that you do to get yourself ready for this conference? What are the mental things? What are the things that you may be listening to in terms of music? All those things are important, so you step in there with a sense of confidence. So the first thing that I want to focus on, mindset, is positive. There is a way, no matter what they say, most deaf. And no one wants to be around a negative Nancy or a negative Ned. So being sure that you're the person who is actually solution focused. When something goes wrong, you're taking action and not just being a complainer. Okay, service. Now, Nordstrom is one of those places that's known for its service. And I want you now to start thinking about whoever you're in contact with at this conference. Think about, how can I be of service to them? That ties back to, what do I have to offer? That ties back to all those things with your network. Now, do me a favor. Don't tell my wife I use this picture of Nordstrom. She's a manager at Neiman Marcus. Thanks. Okay, next is faith. And we have entrepreneur here because these are people who are taking action and believing in things that are not yet seen. And that's what we're talking about when it comes to faith, not necessarily religion, unless you really want to. But this is what we're talking about, is knowing that you put in the work. You're clear on your goals. So now you step into that conference with a kind of confidence or swagger, if you will, knowing that you are ready to connect with the people you are made to connect with. Next is, you see this lady with the open arms, is host. I want you to step into the conference as if you are a host. Get used to asking people, hey, how's your conference going? How are things going? Do you need anything? And there's little micro things that make a huge difference. One is understanding your environment, and that includes where the bathroom is located. As simple as that will change things. Next is a couple of tips to remember. I'll share 3 of the ambassador's top tips. One is, it's okay to leave a conversation. 2, it's okay to join a conversation. And 3 is, be human. The first 2 I will link up to a couple of videos that I created that I think will be helpful to show you how you can do those things. Next, how you can leverage technology in this case. One is using Twitter to connect with people while you're there, as well as hashtags, which is part of Twitter, and a couple of apps. Card Munch, when people are giving you business cards, Evernote Hello, or QR codes. If you really don't want to have a business card, you can just use QR code to exchange information. All right, lastly is follow-up. Treat my first like my last and my last like my first. By Jay-Z. The affirmation, I give each person I meet the attention they deserve. So now, why does follow-up matter? So here's something to take into consideration. Imagine a tennis player, right? You see them swinging and then they're hitting the ball. Imagine if they just stopped once they made impact with the ball. If you stop when you make impact, you're not going to have as much impact. And that's the same thing with believing that, hey, I just step in the conference, I meet someone, game over. The truth is, most of the magic happens before and after the conference. And it matters because this is the space this is where people actually make things happen and keep in touch and remember each other. So a couple of things that are going to help in this space is understanding what gets in the way of making these things happen. A question that comes up often is, hey, when do I follow up? My answer to you is 24. 24 hours when you meet someone and 24 days afterwards. Okay, it doesn't have to be exactly 24 days, but think about it as 1 month. You want to follow up? Well, how do I keep this thing going? We followed up once, twice. Now you want to become an information hub. This is what this picture is showing here. Moving forward, you're carrying your net with you. You're reading an article. You're watching a video. You're thinking, who in my net would value this? And here's an example of that. Here's something that I did recently. I sent a message out. Hey, Jennifer, saw this article in Entrepreneur Magazine called Regimens with Rewards Cashing In on High-Tech Fitness that I thought you would like. It's on page 27 of the July issue. I did this because I couldn't find it online. I just had the hard copy. Her response? Thanks, Mike. I love that you thought of me. I'm working on getting my hands on it now. And that is the kind of response that I want you to have. Next thing you can do in the follow-up space is just sit. That's S-I-T, and that's short for stay in touch. And that's creating a stay in touch plan. I want you to start thinking about the people that you connect with and look at it from the perspective of what is the frequency that I want to touch base with them. Is it monthly? Is it quarterly? Is it just on holidays? Knowing that information, what you're going to do is you're going to leverage things like Facebook and LinkedIn to create create lists that are focused on frequency, not just where you met someone. Technology that'll help, Facebook and LinkedIn. Now this is going old school on it and connecting with people in a traditional way. A favorite pen, quotable cards, which I love, stationery, and stay in touch stamps. So you have all the information you need in order to send and connect with people in a unique way. Quote from Keith Ferrazzi, every human is an opportunity to help and be helped. That's all that I have for you today. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this and listen to me. I can be reached on Twitter, so let's connect at Ambassador Bruni. And also you can find me on the web at thenewartofconferencenetworking.com. Hey, and if you do connect with someone online before your conference, use this hashtag when you meet in person. Hashtags to handshakes. Thank you so much. I'm Mike Ambassador Bruni, and it's been a pleasure to share the new art of conference networking with you on behalf of the Conference for Women. Thank you.